Thanks for joining us in the kitchen. Today we are going to be whipping up a delicious moose meal. And if you are not familiar with moose, they are the largest species in the deer family. They're pretty unique looking creatures. They're absolutely massive. They've got beautiful coats, and living in Alaska, we actually get to see them quite a bit. As you can imagine, an animal that size does provide a substantial amount of meat. And we have had the opportunity to get our hands on quite a bit of it over the years and been able to kind of process it and butcher it to our liking. Although this has never happened to us, if you are able to harvest a mature bull moose, you can expect upwards of 500 pounds of meat. So that can last you well over a year. In our circumstances, we always seem to finish it off much quicker than that. And if you've never been able to taste it, the best way that we can say it tastes to us is like grass-fed beef. So just really clean, fresh meat, very little fat, and almost no game flavor to it. We're making some moose meatball sandwiches tonight, and we're gonna first start on our bread. Now, we're not just making normal bread rolls, we are going to be making some hoagie rolls, so nice, chewy, fluffy rolls for the sandwiches. And you could measure this out. We're doing about 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. We've got to get it proofing. We're going to add a little bit of warm water to that. Okay, we've got about 1.5 cups of water going in here. While we're waiting for this to activate, we can talk a little bit about flour. We are using bread flour for the recipe, and I'm running a little bit low on it. So we are also going to be using some wheat flour and all-purpose. For this type of bread, you're going to get a better result if you can get your hands on a bread flour, or if you use something with a little bit higher protein, kind of like wheat flour. This takes about 5 minutes or so, and you will know when it's ready because it will get nice and frothy, and then we can add the rest of our ingredients. And this is what baking looks like around here. I almost never measure anything.
That was it? That was the joke? That was the kicker?
We're gonna add another little splash of water. I still haven't quite put 1.5 cups yet. I think that was about 1.5. All right, it's a tad sticky. We're gonna add our butter. In the meantime, I have chopped up 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, just kind of cubed it. It was outside in the freezer and it's just warmed up just a tad. We're just gonna mix this in. Good things come to those that are patient. This has been taking about 8 minutes or so to knead, and it's almost getting to where I want it. Probably should take my own advice though. I added a little bit too much water, so I had to add a little bit more flour. And it's a pretty sticky dough. It has higher hydration to get you that chewy texture. But once I get it perfect, I'm gonna be adding it to this bowl with a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna let it rise and proof or double in size for about an hour. The dough is ready to be shaped. We're going to get it into 6 different like little mini loaves or rolls, and then we're gonna let it proof again for probably another 45 minutes or so. Look at that consistency, it's beautiful. Okay. Our oven is hot at 375, so we're gonna get the rolls in there. And first I'm going to just do like a little wash on them. So it's butter, heavy cream, sorry, half and half, and a whole egg. These are going in for 15 to 17 minutes.
On to the star of the show, meatballs. And we're making them out of moose meat, of course. So this is a pound of ground moose meat. We call it moose burger meat, and this one so happens to be from a roadkill moose that we salvaged. So pretty interesting. And meatballs, do them any way you want to do them. They are extremely simple. Some of the things we are going to add is thyme and oregano. We're going to do smoked paprika, cumin, salt and pepper, and then we're going to make these spicy meatballs. So we've got a couple chili peppers we're going to be throwing in there. Let's get these all mixed up. Well, these are gonna be hot. And we're gonna put a couple eggs. So we got a big one and a small one going in there, and our meat has no fat in it, really. So this is just pure moose meat, and they're a pretty lean animal. So the eggs really help to hold this meat together. Let's get that mixed up, and then we're gonna add one more ingredient, and a very important ingredient is going to be our breadcrumbs. So we've got 1 piece of stale sourdough bread. We're gonna put it in the food processor, and we'll have our breadcrumbs. Well, these don't look like meatballs yet. They kind of look like a hamburger patty, and that's because we're gonna be stuffing these things with cheese. Usually when you make meatballs, you put a little shredded Parmesan or something in there. We're gonna do a little different. So I'm gonna cut up some huge chunks, and we're gonna have these cheese-stuffed meatballs. That's for you. Bread's coming out, meatballs are going in. The meatballs are gonna cook a little bit lower, 350 for about half an hour. Check out this bread.
That cheese is delicious. It's from the cheese wheel that we had shipped to ourselves a little earlier in the year, and we've just devoured through it. Eric's got some of our pasta marinara going on, mushroomy.
Little marinara going on top of these. Oh yeah.
It surprises me how good that cheese is melted. It's so crispy.
I'm gonna tell you right now, before I even taste this, this is gonna be the best one I've ever had.
It's been a while since we had a spicy meatball sandwich. Which one's mine, huh?
I don't know, but I'm just gonna load them up with sauce.
I like how you made 3 fit.
That one's yours because it's got smaller meatballs.
Thank you.
Hold on a second here.
Thank you for that.
Well, no.
This is gonna be delicious.
Let's eat. That is a huge meatball sandwich.
It's more like a hot dog meatball.
Oh, that bread is soft. Oh, they're spicy. Mmm.
It's really good. They're very juicy. All I'm doing is I am just like more...
You're puncturing them?
No, gosh no. Why would I do that? I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. You got to the cheese. You got to the center.
There is a lot of cheese in there.
How many bites did it take?
This is so good, too.
Yeah, the bread's good. The meat is lovely. We don't make meatballs very often, and I'm just eyeballing that cheese. What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is just a great combination. A little bit of everything in there.
Best of all the worlds.
They're spicy, but they're not like crazy spicy.
No.
Really good. That's delicious. Awesome moose meal. 1 down, 2 to go. We'll see you tomorrow. That's what you make when you have company.
Yeah. If you want them to ever come back.
Oh, they would come back for this.
Thank you, hon. It's really good. It's delicious. Made by your hands. Moose Meatloaf is on the menu tonight.
And we're going to be grinding up some fresh, well, not really fresh, but we're going to be freshly grinding some moose meat. And we've got 2 moose roasts here. So I think we're going to end up with quite a bit of leftover meatloaf, which is always awesome to have. And this is partially frozen, which always helps for when you're grinding meat. It just goes to the grinder a lot easier, and there is not a lot of fat on this meat. It is just super lean.
That's some of the moose that we were able to process recently, so really, really nice chunks.
Yes, it is, and you can make meatloaf out of pretty much anything. Chicken, turkey, pork, beef, venison, wild game. I don't know if I do fish, but I'm sure it's been done. So, but like I said, we're just gonna do the moose meat. Let's see if we can get this sliced up. We'll fire up the grinder and start grinding her.
How much of an onion do you want?
Half an onion, probably. I mean, we're making a lot of meat. Half an onion, maybe.
Whoa!
Still coming.
Where is it?
Okay.
Shoot. Time to add an onion. So we're gonna add half of a yellow onion, and then we're gonna add some garlic cloves.
I think we should probably just add all of our herbs at this point too, right?
Add all our spices and our other ingredients. Sage, rosemary. Looks like you have.
That is cayenne.
Cayenne and pepper and salt. Super simple.
Change out the coarse plate, which has the bigger holes, and we're gonna put the small plate on. It's gonna give you the consistency of just like regular hamburger meat.
4 cloves of garlic.
So we've got just about all the meat ground through, and I added all our spices to the meat. It really helps if you add your spices and herbs and then grind the meat through, and then we'll give it one final mixing. And meatloaf, kind of like the meatballs, you can add breadcrumbs to it. Instead of using bread, we're gonna use these Sailor Boy Pilot bread. And I call it Sailor Boy Pilot crackers, but it's the same thing. This is almost like a saltine, except it's just a lot thicker, and there's no salt on these, and it's kind of flavorless. It's just like a palette for your food. So we're gonna crumble these up, and these are gonna go straight through the grinder, and then we'll give this one last good mixing. We're coming along with this, and at this point you can add a lot of different flavors. Meatloaf is almost one of those dishes where you can just kind of clean out the fridge. So you could add ketchup, barbecue sauce, we did the garlic and the onion, and we have some Worcestershire sauce left over from when we made some shrimp cocktail. So I thought this would be pretty good in there. We're gonna get it mixed up one more time, and we like to cook ours in a cast iron skillet. So we'll use this big one. We'll get the oven to go into 375, and we're gonna stick it in the oven for probably about 15 minutes till it's almost done. And in the meantime, Arielle's gonna start working on the sauce for the top.
The sauce could not be simpler. We are using the delectable Alaskan wild berry known as Lingonberry. So they are quite tart, but when they're processed, they're amazing. We're using some brown sugar and then some sweet brown mustard in there too. Just a little mustard.
So the meatloaf is just about done. It's probably got about 5 minutes more. We're putting this glaze on, and you might have noticed I put a little channel in the top, and that's my secret to get more glaze on top, or at least to have it stay on top. So we'll finish it off, and we're also gonna have this with some mashed potatoes, and I think I'll save a little bit of this berry sauce, and we'll top it at the end. Probably the biggest meatloaf I've ever made.
It's like a 8-pound brick. Wow, she smells good. I'm
that
pretty
hungry?
hungry for meatloaf. I haven't had meatloaf in years, or at least a while. Oh, what a beauty, babe. It has been some time since we have had meatloaf, and as per tradition, we tried to outdo ourselves and made the largest one we've ever made. So we're gonna have a lot of leftovers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meatloaf sandwiches tomorrow. That's like the best thing with the meatloaf to me is the leftover. You do bread, mashed potatoes, meatloaf, some extra of that sauce. Very good. Let's give it a go. And meatloaf is perfect for a cold day. It's getting close to 30 below outside. This is gonna warm us right up.
Mashed potatoes were a little bit of a last minute decision. Eric's actually probably the one who turned me on to meatloaf. I don't really remember eating it before I met you.
Those mashed potatoes are good. Oh my gosh, that sauce.
Let me eat an individual first.
Tastes like a cranberry sauce.
Yes, we made a sauce. Well, not even, really? Better.
Sweet, yeah, better. Sweet cranberry. Man, this is good.
I really feel like the berries are actually the star of the show. The meat's delicious and so are the potatoes. But those berries could be like a meal. They're just...
Those are really good.
They're so unique.
Mm.
It's really good. All the 3 bites, the mash, and the pop.
Whoa. And the color?
This color.
It's one of the best meals I've ever had. It's delicious.
What else do you eat meatloaf with, hon?
Just meatloaf.
Just meatloaf. This meal is no joke. It is delicious. And we have something creative up our sleeves for the last meal.
We'll see you then. It's peasants. It's like sort of like poorer people. You know, you couldn't afford steak and everything.
Well, you mean
grind
those
up your
low
meat.
quality meats?
Yeah, ground meat.
Low quality cuts. Like you didn't do this with filet mignon. You did it with like a brisket or like a...
You think anyone's going to notice that our table's a lot higher?
Yes. For our final meal, we are making moose empanadas, and empanadas originate from Spain. The term loosely translates to wrap or coat in bread. They're very popular throughout the world, especially in Latin American cultures. And as you can imagine, that has led to a wide array of ingredients and just adaptations to the recipe based on the culture and based on what they had available in their region. They can be savory or sweet, they can be for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and they can be baked or fried. We're gonna start on our dough for the empanadas. So for the dough, it's actually really similar to pie dough, but it has eggs. So think a little bit like pasta dough, I guess. And you can use fat, olive oil, you can use butter. We're using a combination of butter and fat or lard. I just really like the way crust turns out, or the dough turns out with that. So we're probably using, we have 3 cups of flour, and we're probably using close to like ½ a cup of fat. We're gonna add some salt in this and then crumble it together and get our eggs in there. The last thing we're adding is some warm water, probably about ½ a cup, just to bring everything together. And then we are going to let this relax for probably about ½ an hour, and Eric's gonna work on the filling.
To get it to relax, do you put it on the couch?
Yeah, you just let it chill.
We're gonna be using a nice, beautiful moose roast. Check that one out. And we're gonna do this very simple and one of my favorite ways to cook moose meat. So we're gonna start with some olive oil, and we're gonna do salt and pepper. That's about all you need on the moose. So we'll do quite a bit. We'll get it on both sides. Make sure it sticks. And we've got a very hot pan here, and we've got the oven at 400. So let's get this bad boy searing. We've got some nice color on it. This is gonna go in the oven and finish cooking for about 10 to 15 minutes. The meat is gonna rest for just a little while. That's going in the empanadas along with a lot of other ingredients. So down here we have potato, peppers, onion, cheese, hard-boiled egg, and some olives. These 3 are gonna get cooked first. We're starting with the potatoes. Now that we've got all our ingredients in there, let's go ahead and add our spices and seasoning. We are gonna do thyme and oregano. We only did salt and pepper on the meat, so we're gonna do quite a few spices. We have smoked paprika, we're gonna do cayenne, cumin, and then I got this one called adobo seasoning. And I've been using this quite a bit. This one's actually pretty good, and we'll get this all mixed up.
Back to the dough, we're rolling it out now. The filling is going to chill down just a little bit. I don't know how many we're making, but I imagine it's gonna be at least 4 or more. A little fun fact is that these traditionally used to be like big old meat pies, and over the centuries they have become more the norm to see a smaller pastry size. So that's what we're kind of going, we're kind of going on the smaller end, I feel. water's working really well on this one. Little meat pockets. Whoa, do you smell that filling?
Yeah, it's good.
Savory.
Okay, you can stuff this one.
Thank you.
You're a champion.
You stuffed it. You mean, can I braid it?
Braid it, yeah.
Look at them, babe. Probably be able to cook 2 at a time.
We can cook 3 at a time, so 2 batches.
3? You can cook 3. Okay.
You can bake these or you can fry them. We are going to fry ours in a pig fat and a little bit of olive oil.
The final meal, and it's a good one. We actually just had a little bite of the dough. We were trying to figure out what it tasted like, and we feel like it was an unsweetened version of funnel cake, if you've ever had that.
Yeah, or like a donut almost. Really good dough. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, these are little sturdy guys here. Kind of like a Hot Pocket.
I mean, they look and smell so good. Are we eating?
Cheers, man.
Look at the little hard-boiled egg in there.
Immediately I'm channeling something and I don't know what it is. Not the flavor of the filling, but maybe it's the cumin. I'm channeling something with the crust.
Honestly, it tastes like a burrito to me.
I was just about to say chimichanga.
Like a chimichanga.
The whole process, you want the dough and the filling. That's why we cooled it to stay like the structure to stay good when you're frying it. And the structure is really nice on this. There's no leakage or anything, but it tastes like a chimichanga.
Yeah, I mean, these are good. I honestly probably wouldn't change a thing. Maybe a little bit of like sour cream as a topping, maybe something cool like that. But these are really good.
I may add more cheese, but yeah, beyond that. When I looked into these too, a lot of the countries cook them different ways, so a lot of ingredients are an option. And I ran into green olives and hard-boiled eggs, which I personally thought was a little bit interesting, but we decided to give it a go. Can you taste anything yet in there? Do you like that? I like it. That's good.
It tastes just like a burrito.
We already decided we're gonna do some dessert ones because these are good.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe you could make like a apple cobbler or use like a pear or something in there. Definitely be interested to make a dessert one out of one of these.
We'll like put fruit filling in them and then put some sort of like powdered sugar or syrup on the top. Yeah.
Not a cobbler, but a crisp.
Yeah, a crisp.
Hey, those are good.
Would you?
They're filling.
I don't think this is traditional. Would you have a dipping sauce?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would take a dipping sauce too. Not sure what. These are really good. I would definitely recommend making them, and you can virtually fill them with whatever you want.
And we are always up for trying new, creative, unique, and just delicious recipes. So if you guys have one that's like your specialty that you just love, doesn't have to use moose meat, but we'll probably sub moose meat in. Let us know in the comments below.
Absolutely. We love moose meat and trying new recipes, and we hope you enjoyed the video. I really like it.
I enjoyed the video because we got to eat all this awesome food. Did you get an olive yet?
Sure. No, I haven't.
Eat that bite.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
you gotta take the olive?
Yeah, let me put it in my bite, because I really don't think I have.
It's really good with the olive.
With the cheese and the olive. That's what I would add. More olives, more cheese. Is that olive? I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure this is how they're supposed to be cooked, but could you agree it could use like something more potent? Like something, like you said, sour cream or more olives. That olive was freaking fantastic.